I have a new video for you guys because Britney Spears' cousin and her former personal assistant is speaking out after 10 years of silence. She claims that Britney's father, James Spears, has been trying to isolate Britney Spears from all of her loved ones. This cousin was Britney's best friend, and James told her that if she didn't get out of Britney's life immediately, that her life is at risk. So we're going to walk through what Allie has to say about James Spears and why Britney's father is a complete monster. So let's get into it. Like I just said, Britney's cousin and her former personal assistant, Allie Sims, is speaking out, and she claims that Britney was caged back then, and she's still caged now today. She was very close with Britney Spears. She was there during the umbrella incident. She was there during those very dark times. She even moved in with Britney in 2007, 1 year before she was put in a conservatorship. So now she's speaking out after a decade of silence, and she has a lot to say about Britney's father. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive into the interview because she did one with NBC after the Framing Britney Spears documentary, and I feel like she has a lot more to say about James's corruption than what these documentaries included. Back in January 2008, Allie, Britney's cousin, got a call from her father, James Spears, and he pretty much was warning her that something would happen to her if she did not stop communicating with Britney Spears. At this time, she was living with Britney, and James was very, very serious about his warning. Allie said in this interview that he was, quote, 100% her life. And as soon as she heard from James that he was going to do something to her if she didn't get out of Britney's life, she did. And it was really hard for her. She remembers seeing Britney calling her and, trying to figure out what's up, and she just did not answer it because she was truly scared. As you guys know, there was recently a documentary released from the New York Times, posted on Hulu and FX, and pretty much this documentary walked through Britney's conservatorship. I give it a 3 out of 10 because it excluded some major parts of the Free Britney movement, but at least it's anti-conservatorship like Allie is. She does not agree with the conservatorship, and as one of those only people who were living with Britney at the time, I feel like she knows Britney the best, and she knows that this was not necessary to put Britney through. Allie shared that she did watch this documentary, and this is the reason why she's speaking out now, because she lived through this, and she wants to provide some context into what was really going on. As you guys know, there has been a huge legal battle in the courts between Britney and her father, because when it comes to conservatorships, there are plenty of issues, and these people who are being taken advantage of, they're finally getting some justice, a little bit of justice, at least some recognition. Hopefully Britney will get her freedom and justice will be served, and the conservatorship program, the laws will be reevaluated. But this mess is crazy, and there are so many other people out there who aren't even celebrities and are stuck in conservatorships as well. Taking it back to 13 years ago, you guys know Britney Spears was going through it. We recently were saying #sorry Britney for what she went through on Twitter because the paparazzi definitely took advantage of her. And her cousin Allie has spoken out about how this has affected her as well. I mean, if this has affected Allie, imagine what it did to Britney. Allie shares that it has taken so long for her to speak out because she's truly worried about how this information will be misinterpreted, because back then when she was with Britney and they were just living their life, they were doing basic things, yet the paparazzi would pull something out of it and make a huge headline, and that really put Britney and Allie on edge when they would go out. She went into detail on how the media was so shameful at that time, especially to women. They just shamed them for everything. And Allie wasn't like a celebrity or anything. She was just, associated with Britney, yet there was still so much going on. She said, quote, "Just because I was smiling in a photo going through a drive-thru doesn't mean that I wanted the attention. I would have much rather been able to drive around town with nobody bothering us. Just basic mundane tasks like going to Starbucks or picking up groceries would put them in dangerous situations because the paparazzi hounded them. It's not like a few people just on the sidewalk asking how you're doing. These people are putting them in dangerous situations, especially when they're in the vehicle. I mean, keep in mind, guys, these are two women just just going on trying to get their Starbucks, trying to get their groceries, and there are hundreds of people who are aggressively trying to get in their way so they can get the perfect photo. This was before they had Postmates and you could just order something on the phone. I mean, Allie and Britney were locked up in her big house and there were helicopters outside. There were paparazzis on the front street, on the back street. There were so many people waiting to get the perfect picture to make Britney look awful in a magazine. She said, quote, "There are so many of them. You're completely surrounded by the paparazzi. You're at their mercy." She continued, "It definitely affects you. I mean, this affects me and it has been 13 years. I'm not surprised that this affects her because she was with Britney during Britney's most traumatic moments in public. I'm talking about like the whole umbrella situation, which I will not show a picture of. I actually hate when people share those photos of the umbrella or the shaved head. I just think it's something that we like know about and we don't really need to see it over and over again. Like we don't need to push that, you know what I mean? The fact that the FX, Hulu, New York Times documentary included that one paparazzi who like took the umbrella picture and put Allie and Britney in such a dangerous situation just really, it irks me so much because why would they not include Allie in this documentary, but they would include him? And I don't know if they asked her or not, but like in little credits at the end, they did not include that. And I feel like the paparazzi like should be the last people we're talking to. Maybe he should just be charged for what he did because he seriously and so many others put Britney and Allie in danger. They couldn't even drive normally. I mean, it takes me back to Princess Diana. I mean, you know what happened with her? The paparazzi were taking pictures, there was a car accident, and then she's just gone. It's like that could have easily been Britney Spears. But ever since Britney's father, James, threatened Allie to go away, she did what she needed to do. And she went to Louisiana. She has her husband, they have some kids, and she's living her like best normal life there. But you know who's not? Britney isn't. She's locked up and she's controlled by people who do not have her best interests. But as far as Allie, her life is nice and normal. And she says we have fun and enjoy life. There's no, real drama. Which must be nice that she could just disconnect from that situation. But I do feel like, I don't know, I mean, I always wish that there was one person there who stayed and kept fighting until they couldn't fight anymore. Because do you really think that James would be like, her? I don't know. Because at this point, this group seems very dangerous to me. And I could see them just like, I don't know. I've even been like feared for my own safety before. So I don't really run it past her. I'm sure James was really scary at the time. And he probably has Lou and Taylor and other minions behind him that will do his dirty work. But honestly, you can't blame her. You really can't. Because back in 2008, I mean, who saw this coming? Because even, you guys know Britney's father, he got the conservatorship approved by the courts. And then normally you would let the person know that you're going to be placed in a conservatorship, but they actually like waived that part through the courts and made it so they didn't need to tell Britney that she was going to be put in the conservatorship because James claimed that Britney would like fly away to Mexico if she knew she was being put in the conservatorship. So they secretly did this behind everyone's back. And she actually said that she really did not know what to do to help Britney at this time. She says when Britney underwent 2 involuntary psychiatric holds, Allie said that Britney would reach out to her using other people's phones, trying to get in contact with her, asking for help. Literally, Britney would get someone else's phone. She has Allie's number memorized. She would call Allie and ask her for help. Please help me. She's involuntarily being held in whatever facility, the 1-star facility, which we've talked about in the past. And Allie did nothing. I mean, could she do anything? I don't know at this point. Maybe she could have gone to the press, but she was really scared of the press. She told the interview that, quote, "The situation had become way over my head at that point, and her dad and other people were involved. I really do believe James would have done something to me if I did not remove myself from the situation," which that's incredibly scary. Like, oh God, like what would he do? Like, I don't know. Oh, this part of the interview is so heartbreaking. So she says that Allie carries a lot of guilt because she got numerous calls from Britney and she didn't answer because James told her that she, her life is at risk if she did. I'm sure that Allie wishes that she did pick up the phone because one of those phone calls could have maybe stopped this, or she could have rescued her, or I don't even know at this point. Like, it gives me goosebumps because it just seems so sad. Like, imagine Britney just like asking anyone, "Can I please use your phone to contact my cousin?" and hoping that she would save you, and then knowing that like the cousin isn't going to do anything for you. That's so just like I would feel hopeless. Allie even said, I can't imagine how alone she felt. Oh my gosh, it makes me want to cry. I feel so bad for her. Like, Britney was literally abandoned and just like controlled by workers who do not want to speak to her. It reminds me of like, I'll show you guys in 1 second. But okay, let me just end this one quote and then I'm gonna show you guys this quick TikTok. So when I think about how long she's had to go through this and it being 13 years, it just makes me so sad for her. I really hope that one day she's able to tell her story if that's what she wants to do. If she does, get ready because there's more to that story than anybody could ever imagine. Oh god, that like, oh, it just gets me really nervous. But I was gonna say, okay, so Brittany probably felt really alone because she was just like surrounded by people who were employed to take care of her but could not speak to her. There was recently this TikTok that was posted online and it seems like it was about Britney's driver because this person who drove Britney Spears around, I guess, could not ever speak to her. So watch this TikTok and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Documentary coming out from Netflix, but to be honest, I'm not that excited about it because if it's anything like the last documentary, it's going to leave out huge things. Like the one from the New York Times, it didn't bring up Lou M. Taylor at all. And she's the mastermind of the conservatorship. She's pretty much running this ship. So how are you going to talk about the conservatorship and not talk about Lou M. Taylor? It doesn't really make sense to me. So for this Netflix documentary, I feel like it's not going to be like as accurate. I don't know. I mean, I'll be watching it, but like, I just feel like they're purposely not calling out Andrew Wallet, Lou M. Taylor, even Samuel Ingham, because they don't want these people to get in trouble and they would much rather push the blame onto like Justin Timberlake, which if you guys want me to talk about Justin Timberlake, I can make a video soon. It would be very easy, but I do feel like Justin Timberlake is kind of like a scapegoat in the situation. Like we're all mad at Justin Timberlake for what happened to Britney, yet no one is talking about Lou M. Taylor, and she's literally like I said, the mastermind, like she created this whole thing. So I just feel like the team is successfully directing attention towards other people and they're not really relevant and it's keeping those actual criminals safe. But let's go ahead and take a look at Britney's Instagram. You guys know I like to check in on her page at the end of videos to see if anything that she has posted, shows any new signs or any hidden messages. And honestly, she hasn't really been posting much. In my last video, we already saw this picture of her with the mango emoji. She posted this 5 days ago where her social media manager Cassie Petrie wrote, "Can't believe this performance of Toxic is 3 years ago. I always love being on stage, but I'm taking time to learn and be a normal person. I simply enjoy the basics of everyday life. Each person has their story and their take on other people's stories. We all have so many different, bright, and beautiful lives. Remember, no matter what we think we know about a person's life, it's nothing compared to the actual person living behind the lens." Ooh, I don't even know what to take from that one. But seeing this video does make me really miss her performing. I'm like, oh, she's just so good. Like, but she deserves a break. If she wants a break, she deserves it. She also posted this on her page where she wrote, "We need to care less about whether our children are academically gifted and more about whether they sit with the lonely kid in the cafeteria." And she wrote, "Kindness, America, pass it on." That makes me like, oh, it's like make me think about the loneliness of Britney and like what she went through. I'm like, oh, I wish that like Allie was that kid who would answer the call and like give Britney that company when she really, really needed it. And finally, she posted this 4 days ago where she's just walking back and forth in a green dress. She's got her like sweatband on her wrist, which might be covering her IV like hole for, I don't know, whatever reason when they're putting substance into her. I don't know. That's like conspiracy theory vibe right now. But I do feel like the bracelets are kind of weird. And when we've seen her like without the band, she has like some markings on her wrist. But the video is pretty basic. She just goes back and forth. I'm sure there's something that we could find in here, so if you have found something, hit me up. But the caption just writes, "Jill Scott, it's love." And she tagged Miss Jill Scott because that is the song in the background. So yeah, that's all we got for Britney's Instagram. But my heart does break for Britney after reading Allie's story with NBC because I do feel like she was Britney's best friend and probably her only chance of like having like someone there for her because her own little sister Jamie Lynn Spears won't even utter the words "Free Britney." So we know where Jamie Lynn and her loyalty lies. It's with Lou M. Taylor and James Spears. So seriously, Britney is truly alone. And I hope that her boyfriend Sam is there for her, but I still feel uneasy about him. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That was a lot, but I will see you guys in a new video soon. Bye, guys.